Welcome to the Fantasy NASCAR podcast. I am Race for the Prize, Martinsville Cup picks. Let's look at my player pool, look at the drivers that I'm circling around. If you want to get access to the Fantasy NASCAR spreadsheet, all the lap data, the raw data where you can compare groups A and group B and see the specific times they're on the track, if you're worried about the rubber, and if you want to see the lap by lap data, it's all there for you. Venmo, PayPal, Cash App the money to me. Chase Elliott's where I'm going first. I know that maybe you're not as bullish on Chase Elliott over the last season, but it appears that Hendrick has closed the gap, and this is a very special racetrack for Hendrick over the years, and this is a very special moment. It looks like they brought a really fast car. Very encouraging to see his lap times. Really like what he was able to run down and do, and he really opens up your lineups at 8,800. Even though he hasn't necessarily produced the finishing position results, he is still running fast laps and leading laps in the next-gen car at this track. Kyle Larson on the pole. Of course, you're going to want to jam him in. Number one pit stall. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't go in that direction. All he has to do is lead the beginning of this race, not mess up the restart. He's going to get a chunk of fast laps led, run the top five for the rest of the day. You're good to go. Chase Briscoe, definitely going to conclude him. Maybe some people aren't as bullish on him, but again, in the next gen car with the shifting, there's less finesse, as I mentioned in previous podcasts. Check those out on my YouTube channel if you want deeper analysis of what these guys have been doing at Richmond, at Martinsville in the past. Briscoe's been great at this track. Less finesse here. It's going to be easy for him to hold on to position. In the past, it was easy to make mistakes, and he struggled. Now, it's not easy to make mistakes. Just throw it into the third gear. You're running flat out, mashing the pedal, and he doesn't even need to win. He doesn't even need to lead laps at this price. He just runs in the top five all day, gets some fast laps, led points, hog points. Not necessarily dominator points, because I don't know if he's going to dominate this race, but he's going to scrape off some fast laps and work, and he helps with the build. Maybe I'm overreacting a little bit to Truex's practice speed. I'm not as excited, but I think he's fast. He's definitely in the Elliott Larson Hamlin category, but if I had to make a decision, it's probably not where I'm going to go, although he was fast in previous races. They just didn't work out at Martinsville, so he definitely doesn't need to be dismissed, and maybe you can get a little bit of leverage by playing him, but I just like Hamlin, Larson, Elliott more. I think you can make a good case that Truex is probably better than Elliott, especially coming off that strong week at Richmond, but really, if you're looking for lap by lap data, watching the podcast over the last season, you'll know that Hendrick isn't that far off. They have top five cars. They're just missing that little something. And I think that little something happened at Martinsville. Hamlin, even if he doesn't win, every single time they come to Martinsville, he is leading laps, running fast laps, getting those hog points. So definitely in the category. So if you like Chase Briscoe, you also like Josh Berry. Good times in the Group B session. Remember, you need to separate Group A and Group B, make a little bit of an adjustment because of the rubbered up track. Barry had the long run speed. And again, just running in the top five, he's going to get fast lap points. And as long as he can finish there, and we love what we have seen out of him, we know that he has prestigious late model experience in the Virginia Triple Crown. Well, you don't want to believe in that. Well, he does have an Xfinity win. He knows this track. SHR has been very good at the short flat tracks over the last couple seasons. And again, the cars are very equal, and that's really going to limit passing. We know that in this package, it limits passing. So can he run up front all day? Yeah, he did it last week. Corey LaJoie's checking off. I like the practice times, like what he's done. Been decent at Martinsville in the past, and simply because he's starting in the back, he seems to be the value play that everyone is going to go to. If you want to fade him, I understand, because his ownership is probably going to be pretty high, and he really does allow you to open up your lineup. Again, I like what he did in practice, and you just can't help but love what his starting position is. Joey Logano is another interesting option. Maybe you're not on the Elliott bandwagon and you need that third or fourth hog. A guy can get some fast laps. Logano can get there by just simply running in the top five. I know that Penske hasn't been elite, but again, it's just that JGR and their Toyotas have been so fast. Logano, a huge step forward last week. We know that his history at Martinsville. And again, he doesn't have to be the guy out front. He could be and smash the slate. Definitely an easy pivot off of Elliott, and that's going to cost you a little bit more. But, you're seeing a 6.3x there. So if Elliott doesn't work, Logano's going to climb up the board. Would like to see a little bit more out of Bell, but it's pretty much all still there. Big, long run in practice. The argument can be made that he's the best driver in the series right now. Qualifying efforts, the speeding penalties, those have hurt over the last couple weeks, but the car's still fast. He's still very good. He has a Martinsville win in his pocket from the past. He knows what he's doing. You can get some baked-in place differential as well. So if you really think this is going to be a race dominated by two drivers, then maybe you do slide into Bell. He's going to get some fast laps once he works his way to the front. but it just comes down to your build. Are you prioritizing three guys that are really going to control the race? Do you think there's going to be two drivers? Is he slightly too expensive to go to? Could you pivot off of Hamlin at that price? I know Hamlin is very expensive. He's going to make building your lineup really tough, but he absolutely could score 40, 50 dominator points in this race. Same thing for Larson. And so even though they may not be as efficient, I still think they will be efficient, that you're just going to go in that direction. And Bell could have a top 7, top 6 DFS day. He just doesn't fit in the optimal lineup. Bubba Wallace is also very similar to the Josh Berry play, similar to the Chase Briscoe play. He's been just as good, maybe not quite as good. Once we have shifted to this next gen package, he's going to have track position. He can stay up there in the top 10, tick off the fast laps, but he's got to stop doing stupid stuff like wrecking at the end or getting penalties or you name it. But he has a fast Toyota. Byron is a very similar situation to Christopher Bell. If you want to go there, he does have the problem of his lap times are a little deceiving because obviously he was in Group A, and that definitely threw him off in qualifying. But again, if you came into the week excited about Hendrick, you love what Larson's doing, you love what Elliott's doing, you love what Byron's doing. It's just if he were starting in the front, he would be a guy that would be considering as a dominator. It just comes down to build. If you really want to lean into two drivers running away with this race, then you can save a little bit more by going to Byron over Bell. You have to make the choice on that. I am not going to go with Kyle Busch at that price. I just don't think that they're completely got these cars hooked up the way that they need. Maybe I completely missed because he is very affordable. But at some point, it just, to me, it's like, this is not the same Kyle Busch. This is not the same equipment. And to look at past data and then try to extrapolate that and say that's what he's going to do, I just don't see RCR there. I'm not crazy about the Michael McDowell pick, but he was towards the middle of Group B, which kind of puts him in a fighting position for 20th to 25th. And starting in the back, he can get there. Not the greatest history at this racetrack, but he, obviously maybe some people will be worried because of his overall speeds aren't that great. But again, it's a Group B situation. If you're using the spreadsheet, you can see exactly where he ranks up in Group B. He's got a fighting chance. And I'm not super excited about it, but we're not seeing a lot of value. We're seeing Corey LaJoy. Alex Bowman, probably a little bit of a downgrade from Bubba Wallace, from Josh Berry. We get a little bit more place differential. It is a Hendrick car, but just really so last week. I don't think I'm ready to jump on this. Things can work out. There could be plenty of cautions. There could be plenty of strategy. And we did see him run pretty well in a race that was more about strategy in Bristol, where he had a nice finish, as opposed to Richmond, where it was a straight race for the most part. And I mean, if you think that there's going to be some funkiness that happens, then yeah, sure, you can put in Bowman. It's a Hendrick car. He's had success in the past, but my stance is that he just hasn't quite been the same Bowman since Greg Ives has left, and I'm not crazy about it. Hocefer's there as well. As I mentioned, not the greatest run last year in the Cup Series. That's fine. I'm not going to put too much into that. Last truck race he had, he was in 7th place, 2 laps left, wrecks at the end. The car's okay. There's just not much more value out there. And as we go deeper, Chris Buescher can't go there, can't go to Gibbs. No one really, we get down to Stenhouse. God, I don't want to go in that direction. I'd much rather lean into Hocefer, go heavy on Corey LaJoy, take Michael McDowell in that situation than to go with Stenhouse. He could make it work, but Stenhouse just didn't really look that great last week. Is there any other value down here that really I think Gillen's probably just starting too close to the front. We like Todd Gillen a lot this racetrack, but that's great, cool, awesome if you're a Gillen fan, which I sometimes am. But I don't know how he works in DFS. You want to go straight punt with Daniel Hemrick and hope things fall in your favor? Maybe. I don't think he has the car. I just don't like what Colleague is doing. But if you're trying to differentiate and you're building a bunch of lineups and the other guys just don't work, that's fine. As I mentioned in previous podcasts, we've seen like a pure punt, like a guy you really don't even believe in that just kind of survives, gets to like 26, gets a couple place differential points, and works just because no one else works. We've seen that 3 times in the last 8. It hasn't really been the case. Typically, we got guys that are slightly affordable. They're able to hang on to the lead lap, and they finish around 20th, 18th, and they just barely squeak in there, and you don't really need to go with the extreme punt. And then all these guys back here are just, same prayer type options. You can make cases for Burton based on the information you had coming into the week. Practice didn't help you. Justin Haley, practice didn't help you. Casgraw, practice didn't help you with those decisions. We weren't really that crazy about those guys to begin with. And all of those fears were pretty much confirmed from what we have seen in practice and qualifying. Maybe I lean into Harrison Burton in terms of just because of what he has done at this track in the past, that maybe he can hang on the lead lap. Maybe things can work in his favor. I don't know. I wouldn't elevate him too much over Daniel Hemrick. I really don't want to go down into that range. I think Hosever, LaJoy, and Michael McDowell are the values that I'm going to go to. The Hogs and the Dominators. And so that should do it. So racefortheprize.com, that's where you can find out more information, but you're simply just going to hear about PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. You should join. You should definitely join. The sheet makes your life easier. It saves you time, like I'm trying to do with this very quick podcast. And I really appreciate you guys viewing. Thank you for joining us and being here, joining me. Well, it's us. It's the whole team. We've got something going on. I know it's just me, but I feel like you guys are a part of the team and part of this thing, and you're liking the videos, you're subscribing to the videos, you're sharing. It's growing. We're this close to monetization. It's awesome. It's exciting. Something's happening. We're seeing people come from other channels. They're flooding in. It's growing. It's a movement. It's exciting. You want to be a part of this. Someone's going to hit big. Something's going to be awesome. I love Martinsville. Very awesome sports day today. A lot of stuff going on. Say women's basketball, Martinsville, wrestling tonight. You got the eclipse coming up. Pretty cool weekend. I hope you guys are having fun. Thanks for being a part of this. I really do. You know, I'm very blessed that you watch these channels and that you pitch in money every month to help support my family. And it really means the world to me. And so let's keep these positive vibes going. And I am blessed to have you. I love you guys. Trip the Light's fantastic.